back to Speak Candidly. Here's Brandy and Adam.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Speak Candidly. I'm Brandy. This is Adam. And this is where we speak candidly about everything. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, beautiful. How are you today?
I'm good. Tell me what we're talking about today.
So we're going to start off with a little riddle here.
Okay.
And we'll see. It's a sports riddle. So in Major League Baseball, there is a uniform number that nobody is allowed to wear, but yet everybody is allowed to wear. What number is it?
I have no idea. I still have no idea.
All right. That number is 42.
Okay.
Okay? So that number is Jackie Robinson's number. And I'm bringing it up because in a couple of days, April 15th, is Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, which I always think is a really cool tradition that they do. So let me explain the riddle here a little bit. In 1997, now, if you're not familiar, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1997, 25 years after he died, Major League Baseball retired his number throughout all of the game. So they grandfathered anybody who currently had the number. They could continue wearing it till they retired.
Mm-hmm.
Mariano Rivera was the last one, I believe, in 2013 to wear the number 42.
Okay.
Since then, nobody in Major League Baseball is allowed to wear the number 42. However, every year they celebrate on April 15th, which is the day on 1947 that he broke in.
Mm-hmm.
They celebrate Jackie Robinson Day. And on that day, everybody in Major League Baseball wears number 42.
Mm-hmm.
Which it didn't start that way, actually. I think Ken Griffey Jr. was the first guy who basically asked his Jackie Robinson's widow, would you mind if I wore this number on this day?
Mm-hmm.
And she said yes. And then it kind of compounded a little bit and a couple teams started doing it. And now it's the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
So on April 15th, if you tune in to any Major League Baseball game, you will notice that every player is wearing number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson.
I think that's awesome.
I think it's really, it's a great sentiment. It's a great way to honor somebody who was just a titan of the game. You know, Jackie Robinson wasn't, when he came into the league, and first of all, there's another guy that whenever I mention Jackie Robinson, because I love talking about Jackie Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
but there's another guy when you start talking about Jackie Robinson and the color barrier. Robinson played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Now the Los Angeles Dodgers were still back in Brooklyn at that time.
Okay.
He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
So in baseball, there's two leagues, the American League, National League, they make up Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He played in the National League. The American League, the Cleveland Indians, about 6 weeks later, went out and they brought in Larry Doby, another player from the Negro Leagues.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to do the same thing. And so 6 weeks after Jackie Robinson broke that color barrier, Larry Doby was brought in. Now, Larry Doby wasn't really a starter. You know, he didn't play a whole lot. He didn't have quite the impact on the field that Jackie Robinson did, but he faced all of the same backlash, the threats,
Okay.
all of that. He faced all of it in the American League with the Cleveland Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to this day, I mean, they talk throughout the season constantly encouraging each other.
That's good.
You know, throughout the whole season, they face the same kind of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, everybody knows who Jackie Robinson is. And almost nobody knows who Larry Doby is. So
Right.
whenever we talk about this, I always love to give Larry Doby his flowers too.
Yeah.
Because his contribution was, you know, just as important.
It is amazing to me that they were able to perform, and especially Jackie Robinson, to the level that he was able to perform, living the way that he was living in those time periods, like that, you know, breaking the color barrier was not championed, you know.
No.
That was an incredibly heroic thing to be able to accomplish, knowing that you had to endure so much hatred. And he was able to go out there and perform as if he was any other player on the field, not having to deal with all the things that he was dealing with.
Yeah, because not only did he have to go out onto the field and be better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Which he really was.
Yeah.
You know, his numbers on their own. Now, he only played for 10 years because he didn't break in until he was 28.
Right.
He played for 10 seasons.
Okay.
You know, his numbers, he was a 6-time All-Star. He was Rookie of the Year. His first year, he won an MVP. 6 World Series appearances, 1 World Series, victory. The guy on the field was, an all-time great player.
Right.
He was really, really good. But not only do you have to go on the field and be better than everybody else, but then you have to face things that nobody else on that same field.
Literally, you have to survive every day because death threats and people just doing awful things to you and your family member. Like, I can't even imagine the way that America was at that time. I wouldn't want to.
No, it takes a special kind of person, I think, to be able to do that and to stand in the face of that. And actually, Branch Rickey, so as the story goes, Branch Rickey was the general manager for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Okay.
And he decided really early, actually, that he wanted to do this. He wanted to be the guy, and he wanted the Dodgers to be the team that broke the color barrier, right? He saw into the future, and he knew, this was the way that we were going to go. And in 1942, Branch Rickey actually approached Major League Baseball and said, can we get rid of this, this color barrier thing? And they said, yeah, no, take a hike now.
Okay.
By 1945, he said, no, you know what, I'm doing this. So he went out and basically he hired Jackie Robinson out of the Negro Leagues. And in 1946, Jackie Robinson played in the minor leagues, the minor league team of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then the following season in 1947 is when he came up. But there's a couple of quotes that I have here that I absolutely love. And the first one is when Jackie Robinson sat down with Branch Rickey, and Branch Rickey told him that you're the guy that I want, but we need to make sure you're able to handle this, and that when all of this vitriol comes at you, that it's not going to be too big for you. To which Jackie Robinson asked him, are you looking for a Negro who is afraid to fight back? To which Branch Rickey responded that he needed a Negro player, quote, with guts enough not to fight back. And they came to an agreement that Robinson was going to be that guy, that no matter what happened, and it was, not only did you have the fans that were yelling things at him and threatening his life on the field, you had other opposing players who were trying to take you out. He got like an 8-inch gash on his leg from when he was coming into a base. A guy spit tobacco in his face when he was sliding into second base.
Oh, God.
He was facing, obviously, pitchers were gunning for his head.
Yeah.
He knew that he had to take all of this and yet, swallow it and yet still perform out on the field. And to do that at an MVP level is just incredible.
And again, a true hero.
Yeah.
To be able to take that on and say, yeah, I'll do this. That's amazing. It's sad that it took so long to get in the recognition you deserved. But yeah.
Now, another quote I have here, which I absolutely loved. There was a lot of backlash when he was in the minor leagues. Like, it took a while. The first few games that they were supposed to play were canceled. Or I think one of them, they showed up and there was like a padlock on the stadium. They weren't even allowed in.
Wow.
So it took a while to be able to do that. Well, when he came up to the majors, there was a team who decided that they were going to try to stage a protest. But there were also players on his own team who were kind of causing problems and everything else. And Leo DeRocher, his manager at the time, told the team, I don't care if the guy is yellow or black, or if he has stripes like a fucking zebra. I'm the manager of this team, and I say he plays. What's more, I say he can make us all rich. And if any of you cannot use money, I will see to it that you are all traded.
I really like this guy.
Which I loved, you know? And
Yeah.
you need people like that to take that stand.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, no, we're stopping this right now. We are a team and we're going to act like a team. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can get the fuck out of here.
Like it always, you know, and again, this is just a testament to how I was raised. I believe that I don't completely understand how you don't use your privilege to help others achieve what you also achieve in life. That makes sense to me as a society. Why would you not want your people, you know? Like when I hear things about like billionaires are going to leave the city if you tax them more. Well, if you know your city's not doing well, why would you leave it? Knowing that it's not going to affect your life. Those taxes, it's not going to make you poor.
Right.
It's not going to affect your life whatsoever to have to pay more in taxes. But it will affect your society of your city.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at with all the billionaires out there right now.
Yeah.
A little more tax is not going to change your life whatsoever. However, that money can be used for some good.
Yeah. For your society.
Right.
Blows my mind how we have to keep fighting for the right things.
Jackie Robinson, now, he was always a freak athlete. When he went to UCLA, he's the first person to ever letter in 4 sports. So he played football, baseball, basketball, and track and field.
Right.
And by like all accounts, baseball was his worst sport in college. Like total freak athlete. Yet there were people who, most people I would say, especially in the Negro Leagues, who were kind of upset when he was the guy that was chosen. Because they felt like there were so many better players. You know, players like Satchel Paige, who I think ended up coming in the season after. And he played with Cleveland then.
Okay.
But he was like 42 years old.
Okay.
As well as Josh Gibson. Like those were 2 of the all-time titans in the Negro Leagues that people thought these should be the first ones to, you know, to break that color barrier. And yet they weren't.
Why not?
Honestly, you know, Satchel Paige was, again, he was in his 40s by that time. And Josh Gibson was later in his career as well.
Okay.
So I think they wanted somebody who was younger. You also have the point in there, you know, would they have fought back a little bit more than a younger kid?
Okay.
I mean, I know he was 28 at the time, you know, he first broke in. But when he made that deal with Branch Rickey, I mean, he was 26. He was still a young man. And I think Rickey was looking for somebody specific with a specific type of personality to be able to accomplish that. You know, I don't know if Josh Gibson or Satchel Paige would not have been the right guys, you know, on the field. I think they still would have been. I mean, Satchel Paige came over in like the age of 42. He was still like a dominating pitcher. And a team brought him in at the age of 57. They brought him back for like, you know, some event or something to just kind of drum up. It's like a little promotional event. And they brought him back at age 57 and let him pitch an inning. And he was still like effective as a major league pitcher at the age of 57. So could he have come in and, you know, been the guy? Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, whatever the reasons may be. Jackie Robinson was the guy that ultimately got the nod and, I mean, took it and ran with it.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, like you want to take the step with a younger person who has the potential for a career, right? Makes sense.
I think that makes sense, yeah. You run with the guy who, you know, is going to have that 10-year career.
Right, longevity.
Right? Somebody who's just going to show up and then a year or two later is going to be hitting, you know, 200.
Right.
You know, because the other thing is, you know, at the time, the people that knew the Negro Leagues and Major League Baseball, they knew the talent there was similar. In fact, what's funny is some people call Josh Gibson the black Babe Ruth, whereas other people call Babe Ruth the white Josh Gibson, which I find hilarious. But you know, mainstream white America at that time was only familiar with Major League Baseball.
Right.
And so they looked down on the Negro Leagues as an inferior league, the talent-wise, right? Not just the
Societally,
views on,
right.
The people. But as far as the talent, they didn't think it was as good. So you definitely wanted somebody who was going to come in and for an extended period of time be able to play up at that level that's going to show, hey, look, these guys, they're not only as good as what we have in Major League Baseball, but they're arguably better.
Yeah.
And we see that, today, where that has come. And if you look, I forget who won the MVPs this past year. I stopped paying attention at a certain point. But I remember last year, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani were the ones that won the 2 MVP awards.
Okay.
Well, Aaron Judge is black and Shohei Ohtani is Japanese.
Right.
Without this color barrier being broken, we wouldn't have either of those players.
Right.
We wouldn't have Barry Bonds. Right? We wouldn't have Pedro Martinez.
Right.
Like, we're talking titans in the game, some of the greatest players, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
All of these guys would not have, been today and, yesterday in the game and done what they did had Jackie Robinson not broken in and did what he did.
I think it falls along the same lines of what we talked about in our Genius episode, how circumstance,
Yeah.
and potential really need to align. You know what I mean? For more people, because we as a society are missing out on so much greatness when we suppress and when we don't allow it to cultivate the way that it should on those individual levels. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, for our own society,
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I love sports, because it's the ultimate prove it.
Right.
Anything else does not matter. You step out on that field, on that court, whatever, you are asked to prove it against another individual, another team. You decide it on the field.
Right.
And so you can argue in politics, you can argue in most other fields, right? Who's a better doctor? Who's a better software engineer? There's no real way to prove that. When you have sports, it's objective. You get out there. As long as you are allowing, people to come in, and we see that in sports today. Right. As long as you are allowing people to come in and vie for, that same title, you prove it on the field. And that decides who's the better player, who's the better team. It's the beauty of sports.
You're also a fanatic, so.
I'm a sports fanatic.
You really are. That's why we do these little episodes, because you love sports so much. Do you get to share all that knowledge?
Yeah, I don't remember most things, but I have sports statistics and stories stuck in my head about things like before I was even born. And I don't know why or how, but when I was younger, these things just resonated with me. And I love sports just for everything that it does. Yeah. But any chance I get to kind of talk about, things like this, I think it's amazing. So if you get the opportunity, April 15th, just turn on the TV, turn on a Major League game, and just check it out, because you will see that every player on the field is wearing number 42, which is just a great honor to Jackie Robinson. Yeah. That I think that Major League Baseball is doing a great job of doing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That absolutely helps us out. Also, don't forget to check out Major League Baseball on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day. You won't be disappointed. You can find us on every major podcasting platform. And until next time.
Bye, everybody.